with an, oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3. What's going on, guys? Kuba here. Want to make another video to this series. I've kind of just started with the Why I Love Boxing. I kind of want to make a new, this new series, why, maybe different sports, different movies, but predominantly sports. I want to tell people why, maybe why they should give things a go instead of prejudging them, or just having another look, a new light to something. So this new one I wanted to make is about golf. I wish I could make a full editing thing where it looks great, but that's a one-day thing. But for now, this is what I got for you. Golf. Definition is a game played on a large open air course in which a small handball is struck with a club into a series of small holes in the ground, the object being to use the fewest possible strokes to complete the course. That is the definition of golf. Bit of brief history. It originated in the eastern coast of Scotland. It was a game that was played with small pebbles that those Scottish people would hit with sticks or broken ass clubs over sand dunes and hills, which originated close to around 13 or 1400s. Man, this game's been around for a time. Most stars some famous people you might know who played golf. Tiger Woods, he's probably the most famous in general. He's the one I first knew of. He tied for the most PGA wins, PGA being the World Golf Series. Most PGA wins, 82, which is incredible, and it's tying with another guy named Sam Snead, unless that's broken now. I'm pretty sure it's not. The second player, 11 Player of the Year awards with 15 major tournaments winnings. That's second in history. He's very, very rich, and he has been very controversial through a lot of, I think it was prostitutes, and he had a car crash and a bunch of other things. Another person, Jack Nicklaus, who apparently is arguably the best golfer ever, next to Tiger Woods. Some people say Tiger Woods is better, but Jack Nicklaus, probably said his name wrong, but nickname the Golden Bear. He was the best, apparently the best ever, some people say. 73 PGA wins, 18 major championships, top 10 finishes. He has the most top 10 finishes. 56 times he was in the top 5 of the. That's incredible. So he was well known for his consistency. Ben Hogan, he had a near-death car accident, but he was known as the most hard-working, dedicated out of all of them, apparently. He won 3 majors in a single calendar year. Not many people have done that, and he still practices to this day. And there's many other famous golfers. There's famous courses would be, the most famous one would be St Andrews, is where in Scotland, where it originated from. Would make sense. It's the oldest and most prestigious, based in the home of golf. Okay, this gets into the actual game itself. Skills of golf. The ball. When people ask why is golf so boring, and that, it's like, well, first of all, the game is a long day. In average, there's about 300 to 400 yards that this person has hit this small little ball, and make sure you have to get into this hole that's 4.5 inches, which is 10.8 centimeters long. Let's get this tiny little ball into that small little hole, 300 to 400 yards away. And he has to do it in the least amount of hits. So forgive them if they want to take their time before their shot and weigh up what the best way to do it. Because also you got to weigh in that there's wind, there's different heights of the course. You got to factor in if it's sunny, is it raining? It's a lot of things you got to factor in outside of just hitting the ball. And then you got to make sure that also the grass being groomed properly. You got to make sure your feet are in the right placements. They can't be too far apart, can't be too close together. You got to make sure your hand grip, you make sure your hand's in the right spot. Make sure your wrists turning in the right way. Make sure your hips are moving in the right way. Make sure your shoulders in the right spot, the way you move your arms, it's all one movement. Make sure you're hitting this ball correctly, because if you stuff up once, it can ruin the consistency of your game. Or that one shot could mean the next person that you're versing could overtake you. So you got to make sure you do everything correctly. That's why they take their time, because they've got to assess everything. They make sure that everything's in form. And even then, sometimes they still bloody miss it. You see it all the time. What else we got here? Oh, make sure where your eyes are looking. And saying that you get all this right in this one swing. That's one swing out of, well, it's a certain pars, depending on how far it is. If it's like 300 yards, it'd be like 3 pars. So there's expecting you to get the ball into the hole in 3 hits. So 1 off the drive, 1 with probably an iron or something like that, and then 1 into the hole. That's what they're expecting you from 300 yards away. So, and if it's 400 yards, 500, they could do like par 4s, par 5s, depending on how long it is. But think about that, all those things I just said before, they have to try to get all that together, hit it, and do it all again. Make sure you're hitting every single one correctly to make sure you get the lowest amount possible. And then that's just 1 hole. Most golf courses are 9 to 18 holes. In the tournaments, I'm pretty sure they're all 18 holes. But even doing it 9 times perfectly, so if you're doing, let's just say, average 3, so it's like, buddy, nearly 30 times you're going to do it correctly. And that's just for that's for half of it. And then you got to double that for the 18 holes. So it is very bloody strategic game. What else is there? For me, personal experience, I think golf's a great game. I mean, I don't play it all the time. I just play it pretty occasionally with my mates, just because we like to have a little hit around. Some of my mates take it more seriously, or you can get drunk and play it. Golf is a great game to give it a go. If you never give it a go, give it a try. It's not too expensive. It's a good way to walk around, or if you're lazy, you can buy a bloody golf cart and drive around. You could play little mini games, but the actual sport itself is awesome. It's an all year round thing. There's always PGA tours and like all over the world. It's played all around the world. Famously Scotland, America, I've got in Australia as well. And it's a very, if you have a time to practice at the driving range, it's very relaxing. You're hitting it, and if you're just by yourself, or you can have a laugh with your mates, just practicing, it's good. Like it is, I will admit, it's a love-hate game. You get so frustrated if you're consistently doing bad, or if you're doing really well and you're about to hit this perfect hole, you just need that last little stroke, and you fuck it up. Then yes, it is a frustrating game. But the point of it is that to get better at it, you gotta practice all the time. It's like with most things. It's a very skillful game. You gotta be consistently consistently practicing your form, tweaking out all your movements, make sure you're doing everything correctly. But that's if you're taking it more seriously. I personally don't watch it all the time, but every now and then I'll chuck one of the tours on there I have time to watch. And it is awesome to watch, because you're watching it and you're just like, right, like how's this guy consistently done this well? There's a lot of, I think each tour has like a shitload of different players as well. So you're trying to compete with all those other players. I was looking up some great documentaries. These are on my watch list, but I asked top 10 ones of all time. Tiger Woods, I've definitely watched that one, because he's a very interesting person. It's just called Tiger. It's a documentary about his story, his highs and lows. There's another one called The Founders. It's about a group of women who decided to show the world that they can play golf just as like the other men. There's Loopers, The Caddy's Long Walk. And it's all about caddies and their job. There's Uneven Affairs, which is the history of African American golfers. These are all on my hit list of documentaries, just to sweeten things up and because I love a good story. I love rooting for somebody, so I want to get documentaries, get to know the people. And so overall, the game of golf is awesome. You can play seriously, casually, drunkenly, or it could be a hobby that you could just really get good at. Or if you are just naturally talented at it, go to the big leagues, do some tournaments. You can play with your friends, be on teams. Don't judge it before you give it a go. This is why I think golf is awesome. It is a fun game, love-hate game that you can play with your friends or by yourself. Thank you very much, guys. I'm not sure what next I want to do. I think I want to do surfing next. Eventually, I do want to get to a place where these videos will be better complicated compilations, and so we can actually see everything I'm talking about. But I do implore you, please give these games a try. I'll give these sports a try at least once in your life, or just try it casually, just because you never know what you're gonna like, and who knows, you might love it. It might be the heart of your life, and I hope at least one person gets to have a chance at it. No worries, guys. Thanks for listening to the video and watching it. Have a great day, and